CWPA Remote.
Hi, I'm Ed Hawes, Director of Communications for the Collegiate Water Polo Association, and this is CWPA Remote. Joining me today, I will phrase this in the form of a question, and you'll understand in a second, but it's Eric Thorpe, 2018 graduate of Dartmouth College and semi-finalist from a past Jeopardy college championship. Happy to have you with us today.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, let's start off with the easy question first. Tell us where you're from, how you got into water polo, and what took you to Dartmouth College.
Yeah, of course. So I'm from Southern California originally. Grew up in Dana Point, California. Went to Dana Hills High School. My two older brothers both played water polo when I was growing up, so very easy to kind of get involved. Great program at Dana Hills. Credit a lot to my high school coach there. But ultimately went to Dartmouth because of the fact that, had a very strong emphasis on the liberal arts, as well as a very strong club program under Coach Randy Budner, who is still there today. Mm-hmm. I had a great experience at Dartmouth. Definitely phenomenal 4 years. Served as president of the team as well as co-captain my senior year. I believe we came in, I want to say third place my sophomore year at CWPA Nationals, which was a really cool experience. Traveled to Santa Cruz with the entire team. Had the opportunity to play with some great players who had, kind of come from all over. That was something I definitely had an experience growing up. I will admit, sometimes in California, it's hard to play against other teams from out of the state. But one of my teammates is from Texas. Played with somebody from Greece. It was a really cool experience, kind of just play the sport with people from all over the world in college.
All right. Well, what's your best memory of playing at Dartmouth and playing in the CWPA?
Best memory. I'd have to say it was just my senior year, even though we ultimately did not end up making it to nationals, in the New England Conference. We were fortunate enough to play against a very Boston College team all 4 years that I was there. Even still, my senior year, it was still a very close game up until then. And, it was great to have all my friends there. My family traveled from the West Coast to watch us all play. We ended up losing, but it's still a very good memory and something that I will always remember, definitely. Having the opportunity to lead the team with, it was just a very close-knit group of people that, I still remain in touch with to this day.
All right. Well, obviously you're at Dartmouth. You decided to compete on Jeopardy. How'd you end up deciding to go on Jeopardy?
Honestly, kind of random. I actually did not watch the show much growing up as a kid, but in college it was the kind of thing where my friends and I, one of my teammates and I would live together, and then a couple other friends from college would watch, at the end of study days, or even like at the end of, going out with friends, and just late at night. It was just kind of like a late night activity. And, it was always the joke that I would always know the answers. So then one day on a whim, you get like the Facebook targeted ads, like you should sign up for the Jeopardy exam. So I ended up actually, I don't think I've ever actually told my coach this, but I told my coach that I had an interview, and I hopped out of the pool, and I ended up like taking the exam on my laptop on the pool deck. And it's very easy. They give you like 60 seconds or like 8 seconds per question. You got to type it in really quickly. And I ended up getting called to an in-person audition in Boston. So drove down, 2.5 hours to audition in person, and was lucky enough to be selected, which was super cool. Really, really cool experience.
All right. What was the experience like being on the show? And obviously, Alex Trebek recently passed away, but you can talk a little bit about, Alex Trebek and, what it was like what kind of person he was as well.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, my condolences to his family, and anyone on the show. Obviously, had a connection, cannot help but feel a connection with him. It was surreal. I think that's the best way to describe it, and something that I'll never forget. They fly you out to LA, you stay in a hotel. I was in the college tournament specifically, so people from all across the country that just all know a bunch of weird facts. But really cool experience, being in the studio. It's both stressful at times, but also really fun, which was something that I hadn't anticipated, like feeling so much of those both emotions at once. But Alex was great, very, very witty. Clearly someone who had done this for a while, and kind of made you feel like he cared about every single contestant, and make sure they're having a good time, win or lose.
All right. You didn't make it to the final. You made it to the semifinals. So if I remember correctly, you walk away with $10,000 for making it to the semifinals. I won't ask what you do with the money.
I actually took my girlfriend and I went to France right after I graduated college, so it was a good kind of right before I started work. Yeah, so obviously not all of it. It's a little bit of a went into savings for just kind of post grad life, but it did fund a fun vacation along the way.
Oh wow, jeez. Well, I'll ask the easy question. Any questions that you remember from like Final Jeopardy questions or anything that kind of stand out to you?
I still get grief from my family members that I did not know that I got the capital of Virginia wrong, but that's that one's on me.
Well, that kind of leads into something. I pulled some questions up on Dartmouth. Let's see how good your Dartmouth knowledge is.
Oh no.
All right. First question. You don't have to phrase these in the form of a question. I'll throw it out there. You can just give the answer.
All right.
What movie written by Dartmouth alum Chris Miller is about his experiences at Dartmouth's Alpha Delta Phi frat?
Animal House.
Oh, very good. Very good. All right. Dartmouth's motto of Vos Clamatas, and I apologize because my Latin is terrible, in Desertion translates to?
A voice crying out in the wilderness. Oh, I will admit, I was a member of like an alumni relations group, so I may be a little bit. This might be a little bit too much of my wheelhouse.
All right. Here's a tougher one. What pond is the site of the polar bear swim on campus during Winter Carnival every year?
I actually did it with 3 other teammates my freshman year. It's called Ockham Pond.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Yeah.
All
There's
right.
nothing like jumping in cold water. You'll never complain about a pool when you jump in cold water when it's -10 out.
All right. A tougher question. What is Dartmouth's official mascot? Not the big green, but what's the official mascot?
The unofficial or official?
Well, official. That's a trick question. There is an official mascot. So.
Yeah, I'm confused. Yeah.
What is the unofficial mascot?
Keggy the Keg.
And somewhere the Dartmouth alumni office is cursing you for knowing Keggy.
Yeah, exactly. We are not that.
I also would have accepted the other ones that Dartmouth will accept, which are the Indian or the Dartmouth Moose.
I said moose because that's what I thought it might have been.
All right. Why is Dartmouth's college color forest green?
Because during a boat race, at least my understanding of it is that it was like during a boat race, they hadn't picked a color yet, and all the other good colors were taken, so that's why they picked green. But I could be wrong on that. That could be really. That's right.
That is actually true. That Dartmouth puts it out that it was the only color not used in 1866 when they had to come up with a color. So it became now.
I like the color green, but.
All right. What is served every day at 4 p.m. at Sanborn Library?
Cookies and tea.
Oh, you're good at this. All right. Dartmouth is the smallest college in the Ivy League. Approximately how many students are on campus?
On campus or the total student body?
Enrolled. I'll say enrolled. So.
It was like 4,400 when I was in school. 4,500.
Okay. All right. And Final Jeopardy, a 2-part question. What children's author is a Dartmouth alum?
A Dr. Seuss.
Yep, the other guys will. And the follow-up question, what children's TV show host is also a Dartmouth alum?
Fred Rogers.
Oh, you're good at this. You know your Dartmouth.
I will admit most Dartmouth students would know this. This is not too much outside the realm of.
Well, I tried to make them easy. I wasn't going into the more complicated thing.
That's fair. That's fair. That's
I
fair.
figured Keggy to Keg was the most controversial one to throw out there.
Most Dartmouth alum are pretty passionate about their alma mater.
All right. Why don't you tell me what you're doing now? So kind of wrap this up, what you're doing now and what you're looking to do down the road with your Dartmouth degree and, you know.
Yeah, of course. Right now I'm in New York City. I work in investment banking at Morgan Stanley. Longer term, looking to pursue a career in finance. But, hoping to still stay involved in the water polo community, whether it's in the New York area or wherever I may be.
Are you still playing at all, or have you kind of with work this kind of?
Not with work recently, and admittedly it's been hard since March. But hope to be getting back in it soon. As I've gotten more free time after, the farther you're out from an entry level job, the more free time you get. So hoping to get back in it soon and get back in shape first.
All right, I'll end with one final question. I ask this to all the people when we do these things. Give me one thing that you wish you knew when you started at Dartmouth and started in water polo that you know now.
I think something that at Dartmouth that I had to learn, because I definitely wasn't training as hard than I was in high school, was sometimes it doesn't matter if you're the most conditioned, it's whether or not you're the smartest in the pool in terms of thinking about what pass to make or whether or not it's your shot. And I think that can apply in a very kind of metaphorical sense to a lot of different things in life. It doesn't matter necessarily how prepared you are, but how willing you are to think on your feet.
That's a good way to end it.
I don't know. That might be a little bit out there, but that's definitely I think in the pool that definitely helped me out.
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks for doing this for us, and
thanks so much for having me.